The George Michael mystery is solved and disappointing. On June 25, 1963, in East Finchley, London, Georgios Kyriakos Panayiotou became George Michael. He was exposed to a wide tapestry of musical traditions from his Greek Cypriot father and English mother, which shaped his eclectic and soulful sound. His passion for music grew swiftly, and he dedicated himself to it despite his childhood. George became famous in the early 1980s as half of Wham, with his school buddy Andrew Ridgeley. Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, Freedom, and Last Christmas were among their global hits. Wham did more than shine in pop. This cultural phenomenon caught a generation's energy and optimism with catchy tunes, dynamic performances, and stylish images, making the duo an international sensation. George Michael's personality, vocals, and composition made him a teen idol and a talented musician. George Michael had solo success in the late 1980s, proving that his talent could thrive without Wham. His revolutionary 1987 album Faith established his musical dominance. It showed his musical diversity and sophistication by blending pop, soul, R&B, and funk. Faith, Father Figure, and I Want Your Sex topped charts worldwide and stirred discussions on sexuality, identity, and artistic freedom, demonstrating Michael's bravery in tackling difficult topics. His emotional connection and superb vocal delivery made him a unique force in the music industry, blending mainstream pop and deep, soulful music. George Michael released his highly anticipated third studio album, Older, in 1996, marking a major artistic and personal turning point. It was more mature, soulful, and introspective than Faith and Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1, his pop-driven albums. Many songs were personal, influenced by Michael's anguish over his partner's 1993 death and Selmo Filippa. Jesus to a Child and Fast Love were international singles and reached the top 10 in the US, proving Michael's global popularity even as the music environment changed in the mid-1990s. Jesus to a Child, a hauntingly beautiful ballad about love, grief, and healing, was a dedication to Filippa, whereas Fast Love was a slick, funky, cheerful song about desire and escapism. Older was critically hailed for its sophisticated production and emotional depth, but it failed to chart like Michael's prior smash albums because he focused more on creative expression. Fans who had followed him through his career highs and lows appreciated its reflective character. Importantly, the record solidified his status as one of Britain's most esteemed musicians of the decade. His work was recognized when he won Best British Male Singer at the 1997 Brit Awards and the MTV Europe Music Awards, demonstrating his influence across Europe. These awards showed how George Michael had transformed himself into a mature artist. George Michael released his fourth studio album, Songs from the Last Century, in 1999, revealing a new aspect of his music. Instead of original compositions, this album featured jazz, blues, and easy-listening covers and reinterpretations of popular songs in his unique vocal style. He reworked classics like Roxanne by the Police, a cutting reggae-inspired anthem, into a seductive, slow-burning ballad, and Miss Sarajevo, a song originally sung by U2 and Luciano Pavarotti. George showed his ability to span genres and connect emotionally with timeless tunes by choosing such diverse material. Though not commercially successful, the CD showed his range and appreciation for musical tradition. It also showed his desire to experiment, focusing on artistry, atmosphere, and vocal interpretation rather than radio singles. Many admirers saw George Michael's growing interest in timeless standards and his desire to explore music beyond pop and songs from the last century. George Michael returned in 2004 with Patience, his fifth and final studio album, after a 5-year hiatus. The extended interval between this record and his last raised questions about his career, including whether he had left the industry. Patience was much anticipated, and Michael delivered a modern and experimental pop, R&B, dance, and electronic record. The album had 6 outstanding singles, including Freak, a bold, techno-driven track about sexuality and consumerism, and Shoot the Dog, a politically charged satire of Tony Blair and George W. Bush's Iraq War relationship. Other hits like Go to the City showed his ability to write catchy, danceable pop with a mature, socially conscious edge. After years of speculation about his retirement, George Michael's return album, Patience, was lauded. George voiced doubt about staying in the music profession despite the album's popularity in Europe. Its release sparked reports that he was considering retiring from commercial pop music due to dissatisfaction with the industry and a desire to focus on personal projects. He still performed and recorded, but he became more selective, valuing creative integrity and personal independence before financial success. George Michael, one of the most famous pop musicians of his time, was arrested for indecent conduct in a park restroom in Los Angeles in 1998. Michael was known for his musical talent, deep voice, and enigmatic appeal. Thus, this episode startled many of his followers and the public. The arrest ignited questions about privacy, sexuality, and celebrity culture, and Michael bravely spoke up about his personal life. Soon after the incident, he made a sincere and open declaration on television revealing his homosexuality. This revelation changed him personally and publicly, since he freely accepted his identity at a time when such admissions were still controversial and scrutinized. His declaration was seen as brave and honest, signifying a time in his life when he no longer felt the need to hide parts of himself from public criticism. George Michael was arrested for cocaine possession again in February 2006. He struggled to balance popularity, stress, and the private conflicts many celebrities experience behind the scenes in this episode. The episode showed his tremendous public attention and the often unpleasant implications of living under media and fan criticism. He was accused of public sexual behavior at Hampstead Heath, one of London's most famous parks, a few months later in July. The media sensationalized these occurrences, but they also highlighted societal arguments over privacy, sexual freedom, and public figures' private lives. Michael's 2008 arrest for Class A and Class C narcotics possession brought more legal issues. These frequent legal troubles revealed his inner problems and vulnerabilities, showing that despite his professional success and public adoration, his private life was sometimes chaotic. George Michael's personal relationships affected his life and happiness. Kenny Goss, a former flight attendant turned sportswear businessman, was his longtime partner. They shared a steady, loving relationship for years, providing Michael with company, support, and a refuge from celebrity. His partnership ended in 2009, ending an important chapter in his life. Michael then dated famous hairstylist Fadi Fawaz in 2012. This union, which lasted until his 2016 death, provided love, friendship, and emotional support throughout a time of creative work and personal contemplation. These partnerships gave him profound emotional ties that enhanced his life and altered his personal narrative beyond the headlines, reminding the public that this famous man wanted love, closeness, and understanding. George Michael lived in splendor, secrecy, and unresolved questions for decades. One of the brightest 1980s and 1990s music performers, he could command millions with a single note, but beyond the stage lights, something was always unspoken. His voice, charisma, and openness about problems most celebrities avoided won many fans. However, reviewers, biographers, and close associates merely hinted to a darker thread in his life. New findings have revealed the truth about George Michael, which is far from the attractive, polished image the public previously cherished. It is disturbing and heartbreaking. His secret was more than his fame or sexuality, which he bravely revealed despite condemnation. The silent conflict devoured him, a secret struggle with solitude, health concerns, and destructive behaviors hidden beneath a beautiful smile. For years, George gave his audience everything through music, but it became evident that he had little left for himself. Whispers of risky indulgences, recurring legal issues, and medical catastrophes presented a superstar fighting his demons. Fans speculated if tiredness, pressure, or something more nefarious brought him down. After his death, the truth wasn't welcome. His death was considered natural due to heart and liver issues, but the background story was years of physical deterioration, drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, and the stress of global celebrity had taken a toll. Many were surprised by how calm it was. To the outside world, George Michael was still a legend who performed at charity concerts and had his old songs broadcast on the radio. In private, his health was deteriorating faster than his loved ones understood. The solution was tragedy, not conspiracy or scandal. Before his death on Christmas Day 2016, George Michael was steadily deteriorating. Truth is bad because it dispels fans' cozy myths. People wanted to believe George Michael's voluntary retirement, that he was tired of stardom and sought tranquility and seclusion. His withdrawal was driven by health issues, addiction, and the loneliness megastars typically feel after the Cheers end. His closest acquaintances later revealed that George was more vulnerable than he appeared, a man who could be friendly and generous, but yet introverted and tortured. The George Michael mystery is answered with a simple, somber insight, not exciting headlines. He was painfully human. Fame and money couldn't protect him from his own sorrow. Contrast makes this fact painful. George Michael's songs conveyed excitement, freedom, and love. Faith and Freedom, 90 became generational anthems of emancipation and identity. Despite those lofty songs, the artist could not always achieve release. Fans feel heavy once the mystery is solved. George Michael's journey goes beyond success and talent. It also shows how fame can hide pain, how brilliance can coexist with sadness, and how even the greatest stars can burn out too soon.